afternoon, mga ka-vibes! Welcome to The Side Notes, the VSMMC Documentaries.
Once again mga ka-vibes, good afternoon Doc Helen.
Good afternoon.
Sa ato mga ka-vibes nga na sa ilang mga nagkadaiya nga mga panimalay, sakyanan, opisina ug kun hain man mo karon, hinaut unta nga safe ra mo dinha ug maayo ang inyuhang mga panglawas. Sa ngalan ni Attorney Ray Chris Panugaling kini si Pierre Habagat ang inyong host sa The Positivity, sitting in temporarily for Attorney RC.
Yes.
So, how's your weekend?
Thank you, Pierre, and good afternoon sa inyong tanan, sa mga ka-vibes. Today is Monday, and allow me to welcome everyone ato mga ka-vibes sa atong new time slot sa Side Notes, which is every Monday, kada alas 5 sa hapon. And Pierre, thank you for asking. I had a very restful weekend at the farm.
Wow, sana all na farm. Bea Alonzo, is that true?
No, this is Helen Madamba.
Ay, lahi ra gyud. Mas dato pa.
Yan, and we are happy to have a new member of our family, a Doberman
Oh, a
dog,
big
no?
baby.
Yeah, baby pag yun, no?
Pila
His
man
name
ka
is
months?
Major.
Wow.
Almost 1 year.
Oh.
Yan.
Mo dito so at least na ay lain na pud nga Doberman, no? More ba sila color ni Trixie, no?
Yeah, so she chocolate, no? Chocolate colored.
Ah.
Brown na Doberman dog, Major.
Wow. So
Yan.
nindot siya na, no? Nindot yun ang naay.
Pero kung
Bago nga iro.
kung siya Major, male, si Trixie General. Yeah.
How gid ko to si Trixie di ay.
Yes.
So, ang ato mga
3 years
quarantines,
old.
we're also wishing you nga nindot ang inyong weekend in as much as ako nag-drive ug nagkaon-kaon.
Oo.
Tama, actually nakauli gid ko sa amua for
Oh, that's good.
like
Change in
bahalag
scenery.
karyot basta kay nakauli, no?
Yes.
So,
Oo.
karon Lunes, it's quite hectic but aniya kita for another episode sa ato ang The Side Notes. So moving forward, Doc Helen, sa dili pa ta maghisgot no sa kabahin na ning atong episode karong hapunan, na-touch jud ko sa atong previous episode katong A Mother's Love.
Yes, oo. So again, no, hello mami, nagtan-aw karon, no. So it's important to for us to acknowledge the love of our mothers, no. Kay if you know the song na Anak, no, it really reflects how parents really love their children unconditionally.
Right. So, no nga sa pakang idara para sa mga ginipanan, baby na gihapon
Baby
ka.
yun. No? Baby forever.
Yes. So touching jud kaayo ang atong first episode, duot jud siya sa kasing-kasing ug sa bukog. Kung sa pay laing pwede maduot bisag kalag, duot go. So now Doc Helen, unsa man ang atong episode karong hapuna?
Yan, so murag excited na ta, no? So yes, Pierre, interesting kaayo ni atong episode karon because it is in relation with our celebration last week nga the World AIDS Day. So we had a
Yes.
5-day campaign.
Actually, dito World AIDS Day para sa Sotto eh.
World AIDS Week. That's correct, no? But World AIDS Day is celebrated every year since 1988. It's dedicated to raising awareness on people living with HIV and remembering those who died of AIDS.
Wow, so since 1988, since akong pagkatao do.
Wow! Happy birthday!
Since akong pagkatao, nag-celebrate na rin ani. Kay bawa na mga quarantine pila na edad na ako.
Ah, yeah.
Si Utso.
Yeah, so it's by the World Health Organization. So dili ni gihimo-himo lang, no?
Yes, so dili siya buot-buot nga celebration kay
Yes.
this is an international nga celebration nga ato pod nga gihandom ninhi sa VSMMC Nagyud labaw nga ang VSMMC usa sa mga treatment hub.
Yes.
Usas kay
The
tas kinadakan.
the oldest and the largest
o kinadakan.
HIV
dinhing
treatment
dapita
hubs.
sa ato ang nasod.
Yes, oh, correct. And we also provide technical assistance to other treatment hubs and primary care centers in Cebu and in the Visayas, no? And also provide additional services even to Mindanao, no? There are some best practices in our HIV treatment hub. And when we talked about the HIV, the World AIDS Day week last week, the first day we talked about gender-based violence and HIV disclosure among PLHIVs from prevention of mother-to-child transmission, because we also celebrated the 18-day campaign against violence against women. And then the second day we were talking about MSMs, male child sex with males, and LGBTQI and people who inject drugs. On the third day, we had the Shape Up Live Long Journey to Wellness Walk Off, because we are trying to promote healthy lifestyle. And then on the fourth day, we had the perspective of caregivers, the mothers, and mother's love also, no, and the treatment partners, the family and friends of PLHIVs. And on the fifth day, we had the testimonials for our very own healthcare workers managing PLHIVs. And of course, patok na patok ang ating HIV 101 TikTok challenge. Photo booth with a social media campaign, HIV counseling and testing, and condom distribution, yung glow in the dark. Nakakuha ka ba nun?
Wala yung murag nahutdan ko.
Yan, oo, blockbuster kasi.
So,
yan.
in fact, nanino sa atong episode last Friday sa The Positivity, ato na nahisgutan ang atong mga celebration. So, overall, kay Baudjo ko nga successful
Yes,
siya.
oo.
So, moving forward, Doc Helen, doon na kayo pang share ng mga video, no?
Yes, oo. Natay video moving forward about a person living with HIV. Mga ka-vibes, please watch this.
When a virus winds up inside the body, it's usually met with a furious onslaught from the immune system. White blood cells immediately respond by releasing antiviral proteins, attacking infected cells and recruiting backup. Usually, this is enough. But there's one virus that pushes the immune system beyond its limits: HIV. HIV infects one of the immune cells that is central to the body's response to pathogens, the helper T cell. First, the virus attaches and enters. Once inside, the virus moves towards the nucleus along with its enzymes and genetic material. One of these enzymes, reverse transcriptase, converts the viral RNA into a length of DNA, which inserts into the cell's genome, forcing the cell to spew out HIV proteins and genetic material to make new copies of the virus. These new viruses escape the cell to infect others. HIV levels rise rapidly in the body. But the immune system doesn't go down without a fight. Inside infected cells, antiviral proteins called restriction factors work to shut down virus production, whilst others stop the virus from escaping the cell. Outside, white blood cells called B cells produce neutralizing antibodies, which bind to surface spikes on HIV particles and stop them entering healthy helper T cells. The greatest assault comes from killer T cells and natural killer cells, which seek and destroy infected cells directly. They release a protein called perforin, which punctures the infected cells, allowing enzymes to be injected, triggering auto-destruction. For a while, the defense holds and virus levels drop. But HIV begins its counterattack. It disables the cell's antiviral proteins, allowing new virus particles to leave the cell. It also constantly mutates inside the cell to evade detection. The immune system can't fight what it can't see. Eventually, the immune system wears itself out. Killer T cells, activated for too long, become exhausted and no longer respond to infection. Also, the body loses the ability to make new helper T cells to replace those killed in the fight, and as a result, their numbers plummet. Ultimately, the body becomes immunodeficient, and this condition is known as AIDS. Without treatment, exposure to otherwise harmless microbes can be fatal. We still have no way of eliminating HIV from the body completely. There is no cure, and hidden reservoirs of HIV will rebound if treatment stops. But treatment with antiretroviral drugs can swing the balance, allowing the immune system to recover from battle and live to fight another day.
Yes, sumukad to ang atong video, Doc Helen, no? Nga,
Yes.
yes, HIV, pero inspired ni Peppa Pig kay kuan English accent
British
kayo.
accent. Yeah, but I think what we need to know is more of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, no? HIV usa ni kakagaw nga gikan sa lain-laing tao nga makaguba sa immune system sa lawas.
Resistensya sa tao.
Oo.
Natural nga
And,
resistensya.
Yeah, number 2, dili tanan nga may HIV na ay AIDS.
Yes.
So ang AIDS kana weaken immune system nga sa mga tao nga na ay HIV.
This is the complicated nga version na sa HIV.
Yes, and you don't have to be afraid of people living with HIV because there are only 3 ways that you can get HIV. One is through unprotected sexual intercourse with an infected person. The second is sharing of infected needles through IV drug injection. And the third is from the infected mother to her unborn child.
Otherwise, other than that,
No, it's difficult to get HIV, right?
yeah.
Yeah, and then there are only 4 body fluids that can transmit HIV or have high concentrations of HIV. This is the semen, ang duga sa lalaki, or vaginal fluid, ang duga sa babae, ang blood or ang dugo, and then you have your breast milk.
Oh,
Yan.
so upat
yung
ra gyud.
saliva, kahit
Sa
mag-kissing ka,
laway,
wala.
singot,
Sweat, dili.
wala.
Yan, okay. And then there are only 5. There are 5 methods of prevention. A, B, C, D, E. A, abstinence.
Abstinence.
Wait
B.
for your one true love. Yan.
B, abstinence.
Be faithful. Be mutually faithful.
Be faithful. C.
Yan. C, check your status and get tested. And if you're positive, consistent and correct condom use.
Okay.
Yan. And
Letter
D,
D.
don't do drugs, don't drink alcohol, and don't smoke. No? And E, educate yourself and others for early prevention.
Yes. Sus ka,
In a nutshell.
in a nutshell, grabe no, daghan na kay tug na storya si Doc Helen in a nutshell niya.
Yes.
Daghan kitog istorya tungkuan, English accent dito. Nevertheless, Doc Helen, no, mahulog din siya nga refresher sa ato ang pagsaulog sa World AIDS Day kun World AIDS Week din sa ato sa VSMMC. So atong episode karong hapon, kabahin kini sa usa ka tawo nga nagka HIV.
Yes,
So kaniadtong tuig 2008. And she will tell us about her story sa walay pagduha-duha. So may nasaludo kay taaning mga tao
Yes,
nga
brave
kay ba
and
bitaw ta
courageous.
nga, although masige tag-ingon din nga ang HIV kay nahug na lang ganini og lifestyle disease kay kanang compatible with life.
Yes.
Mas murbag taas ang kung unsa ang usual nga gitas-on sa kinabuhi sa tao nga himsog,
Yes.
way sakit, maura po na ang kitas-on sa average sa mga HIV nga tao nga nag-medicate sa nag-inom og tambal.
And just looking
Oo.
at people, you don't know who is HIV positive or
Kaso lang
negative.
tungod lagi kay ang ato ang katilingban no naabay judgment no maghatag manggod
Bawal judgment.
husgaran manggod nato nga kesyo nagka-HIV kay kuan kini daghan na kay istorya kasagdaghan ka nato ay even gani nay mga PLHIVs dili pa gani kay sila inaana ka open to share their story but dunay
Agree.
pipila sama sa ato ang itampo karong hapuna nga mipadayag sa ilahang saysay sa kinabuhi. Wala,
Yes.
uy, mura mag drama sa radyo.
Okay.
Sawan nato ang iyang saysay sa kinabuhi karong hapuna.
Yan.
Isip makahatag og pagtulunan, inspirasyon sa labaw na sa mga PLHIVs nato nga nag-struggle pa kintahay no
Correct.
nag-struggle kay dili man po nato na sila ma-diretso og encourage. So para ni sa tanan ang karong episode na to karong hapuna.
Natay video, please watch this.
Dear John, istorya kani sa usa ka trans woman nga na-diagnose og HIV. How she was able to cope with it and fight for it. So atong subaybayan ang iyang kinabuhi o iyang istorya.
Actually, I never have thought na I had the infection. Before I was diagnosed with this condition, I already have a pre-existing condition which is ang ako ang rheumatic heart disease. So most of the time, yun, nakoy ka ng throat problems. I get like, kanang mga usual tonsillitis and all that. Now karon, I was admitted in Asian hospital. That was way back 2008. And then 2 weeks ako sa hospital, nagawas ko, pagka-morning, pagkagabi, gibalik na sad ko kay nitaas akong hilanat. So my doctors in Asian hospital were like, I think there must be another underlying condition because we've used like na double na imuhang doses ng antibiotics, but then it keeps coming back, ana sila. And you're having this candidiasis sa akong throat, like mga whitish thingy sa akong throat. So they said, if you want, we can do HIV/AIDS testing, and it came back positive. Nag-wonder ko, I mean, why? Wala mo ko activity for almost like 3 years na. And then the doctor said, actually, it can be explained with the level of your CD4. My CD4 at that time was, if I can remember, was 237. So my doctor said, if we base it on your CD4 result, we can assume na you have been infected for 3 or 5 years. But you never knew. Kaya wala mong wala ko'y ma-feel, okay ratanan, until such time na iubos gud siguro ako ang immune system, na nagtikang na siya mugawas, kana ako ang opportunistic infection, which is up until naman ako ang opportunistic infection, kana ako ang candidiasis. I began to be more conscious na katong time na mubagsak ako ang body weight. When I was diagnosed, I was only around 39 kilos, and I'm 5'4". So basically, murag yung skin and bones. So 2008 when I was diagnosed. I was 28 at that time. I see myself as a woman. So if ever na ako'y boyfriend, kana ra gyud ako ang boyfriend. Naghinala ko that my boyfriend was being malingering at that time na makakita ko siya mga BBM. Uso pa man sa unang BlackBerry messaging. So my boyfriend was a bisexual guy. And nakita na ko sa iyang mga conversations. We've been together for 5 years. Makita na ko na, you know, he's into very unsafe sex with everyone else. Men sa gym, girls sa office. So I told him, when I talked to him, if ever you get the infection, manggudluoy ko, because I'm a transgender woman, I'm a bottom, and ikaw lang pang partners. If ever ma-diagnose ko, kabalo ko, sa imo haragid na ako nakuha. Thankful lang me because we have our lola, at that time, buhay pa man siya. We have our lola, karang paternal mom, grandmother, mo'y nag-alaga sa amuang. At that time, when I was diagnosed, actually, nanakoy fear that time, kaya ako ang bill sa Asian hospital was almost 1.5 million na. So, wala ko'y choice but to tell them. Kay sa una, katong masakit ko, di man ko magsulti nila. At that time, wala ko'y choice but to, message them, tell them what happened. Most in the family, manggod, working in the medical field. So, wala ko'y nadunggan nga lain, wala. But then, ang feeling lang nako at that time was there still hope? So the first question I asked my doctor at that time sa Asian hospital was like, how many years they still have? And then my doctor said, what are you saying? Ano sa imong gisulti? Wala. It doesn't put basically years in sa imong life. It's the way how you will live your life. Ada siya dako. If you start your medications, you'll be fine. You'll be as normal as possible. Wag na yung sulti na ko. Sige, I'll think about it. And then, since alone ako, kahit karon, bisan karon, puma-admit ko alone, gihapon ko, I'm used to being independent. Even when I get sick, I get admitted, I'm always alone. So, at that time, nakainon ko nga, the only possible way for me to live my life fully is basically accept the fact na naana na siya, and then move on. Do something about it. Dili kay mo stop lang ko tungod kay na-diagnose ko with the condition. I have to go beyond that. And that's what I have been doing all along. Maragid na siya. Because I'm always a happy person. I think it really plays a big role mentally if, you don't get caught to the condition na, ay, kaya mag-depress ka. I don't think it's really not healthy. Okay? What helped me all along with what I've been through yun is positive outlook na yun. Positive outlook. Whatever is thrown into my way, positive outlook all the time. Accept the fact, do something about it, and move on. Mga na ako apparently. At that time, ako rin yung nahunan was to get back in shape. I want to get back in shape. I don't want to be part of the statistics. That's my one main goal. I don't want to be part of the statistics. Dili ko ganahan nga maingon ko nga died of secondary to HIV. No. My goal basically was to live my life fullest. at least bisag kung si matabo na ako in the future, makaingon ko nga, I gave life a good fight. Diba? I never gave up. First set of ARV I had, I was gaining fats. And that was so funny. So that's when I started. And then, you know how it is when you get so fed up taking the medications. Actually, nakasala ko, I stopped taking my ARV for almost 3 years. So, mukuha ko, but I don't take the medicine. Kapoy na ko. I mean, like, you know, you have like 3 in the morning, ano gani. I'm just being honest because I want to share this to everyone, why it is important to stick to your regimen. So, nag-stop ko. 2018, that was like my mato ang akong annus horribilis, 2018. I got sick na I was thinking I was dying. Ako ang weight was way down 25 kilos. I was like literally skin and bones. Makakita ka sa akong bones actually. Whatever your doctor says, you have to listen to them and do what they tell you to do. By the end of the day, manggod, it's still them who knows what's best for you. So manang ako, bisag daghan ko doctors, almost like every day follow-up, HEMA, IDS, cardio. So, maragid na, and then take your medications religiously yun. Maragid na siya. The best option basically is to arm yourself with being educated as to how HIV works. Dili makuha ang sakit based on your gender. Okay? Dili na kay sa bayutra. It can be from anybody. So, if you are only to do that basically just to satisfy your last for a day, use condom. Babae man or laki na siya. It's better to protect yourself. Okay? Yes, kaambag. Super thank you because they always accommodate me. And by the way, I'm so glad nga I already have the result out. Na akong results. Kaya nagpande ko ARV drug resistance test. So basically it was okay because my doctors were thinking basin daw nag-resistant ko sa akong ARV. So they had my ARV drug resistance test done. It came back okay naman. So which I'm thankful of. And all the time yun mo na akong kaambag, they always accommodate me good. Maybe because kay banha man good ko. Hi! Hello! Nana po ng gwapa. I raised the tension nga nasa kaambag. So, ano lang yun siya. Personality-wise, I'm always a very hopeful person. I don't wallow in whatever situation you're in. Remember, I told you I've been sick too many times. Ako lang isa sa hospital, pero nagpadala ba ako sa depression nga, uy, mamatay ko ako rag isa, no. And one good and this was actually taught to me by one of my good friends na HIV positive for karon mga 36 years na. Yun siya nga, you treat your virus as if it's part of your system. You talk to it. Like, so if you can give it a name, give it a name. Like ako, I gave my virus name John. And I talk to John from time to time. I'm like, okay, sige, karon mo akong pasakiton, mamatay gani ko. Kitang duha gid mamatay. So kinahanglan steady ra kadira kay para kitang duha buhi. Diba? You talk to them. You talk to your body. It really helps. It really helps. I have a lot of friends who's very supportive. My sister, basically, my titas, titos in the US, they've always been very supportive sa ako. Ako ang friends here in Cebu, there's a lot of them who really supports me, and I'm glad that they do. Aside from that, Manggod, I started Manggod when I was diagnosed in 2008. I joined a lot of self-empowerment programs. Kaysa una, uso pa man na ang mga self-empowerment programs. So, I think it also helped me a lot to gain my confidence back. Ma-okay ra gyud ko. Because there was a lot of seminars na self-empowered ka, even though you're HIV. And it helps good. Also, you get to know people in your circle. Even before I moved to Cebu, I've known quite a few people here in Cebu. Nakatabang sila sa ako, like Gerson C, I don't know if you know him. Gerson C really helped me a lot as well. A lot have really helped me along the way. And I'm really thankful kay without their support, Manggod, siguro po nag-give up na ko bisa kung saan ako kusog, diba? So, maragin na siya. And always pray. I'm glad that people are now more open-minded as to know, how the disease actually works in one's body. Based on experience, Manggod, based on my experience, because I've quite, along the way, Manggod, I've met people who committed suicide. And how I wish I was able to talk to them. Bisan sa office, ako yung mga workmates na newly diagnosed, and I always talk to them. I always tell them, look at me. Diba? Do I look like I'm dying? I'm not. I get sick. We all get sick. And that's normal because we're still human. Mag-ubuta, magsipon. But by the end of the day, you just have to keep that in mind nga. Bisa nag-ARV na ka, dili pa kasi Wonder Woman or dili pa kasi Superman para dili ka masakit. You will still get sick. Okay? And positive outlook. It doesn't have to, you should always think nga, your life doesn't end with the diagnosis of HIV. There's more actually for you. There are a lot of options for you. Basically, if you just hold on kanang imong faith and hope, nga makaya ra gyud na nimo, and then you seek people who can help you along the way. Dili siya helpful nga imuha lang siyang itago. You can seek people who can help you along the way. And there's a lot. There's actually a lot. Mara na. We have to give HIV a face. Because if we only basically talk with voices distorted, faces blurred, people will not believe it. Okay? It has to make an impact. It has to make an impact. There are people living among you, basically, who's HIV positive for years, and we're actually, living a very positive life. Dili mi pabugat sa komunidad, diba? We're working, we're paying our taxes, just like everyone else. Okay? So, Mona, I want them to see nga, the diagnosis does not end your life. There's a lot of you there nga options pag yun. All right? What actually holds you back is the things you've done. Sometimes, malagi akong giingon nga marag, mahadlok ka because there must be something that you're doing that's not right. Okay? But when you do things right, you can claim, you can face the world head up high. Wala kay taong na nakasakitan, wala kay taong na because you're taking care of yourself and the people around you and the person that you are with. Mara yun na siya.
Wow!
Yes, so mga ka-vibes, yan ang story ni Miss V. So that's a strong transgender woman. So 13 years of fighting HIV. It's difficult, but it's possible. And she said herself, the face of HIV. Yan. So, what do you think, Pierre? Actually, it's difficult. It was difficult.
Nahilom ko.
She's actually very brave to share her story.
Yes.
And to be the face of HIV because we know that there's still stigma and discrimination surrounding the diagnosis. So, but whoever you are out there, it's important that you know your status, get tested because you'll never know if you have HIV unless you get yourself tested. And let me quote, you never know how strong you are until being strong is the only choice that you have. And that's what Miss V did. So how about you, Pierre?
Ako yung reaction doon rin kay Kuan. Naol nakaadtog Batanes.
Yes, not this time of COVID. But again, sometimes we are even more afraid of COVID than HIV, but it's still the other epidemic that's still out there.
Yes.
And it's more of the stigma and discrimination that we have to fight rather than the diagnosis
Yes.
itself.
Siguro do kailan nato lang i-process gamayan katong mga statements ni Miss V ganiha no. Nag-ingon man gud siya nga kung ganahan jud ka, paggamit lang og condom. So
Yes.
kana siya nga statement ato nang gihatag nga advice kay di man gyud ta kabuot sa ubang mga tao no. Di man gyud ta ka control sa ubang tao. That's why we give them the option nga mag-condom for protected sex. Apan, depende gihapon na kay there's always letter A, abstinence.
Yes, oo.
So depende na sa imuhang choice or imuhang values baron sa so wala mi nag-ingon ha, wala mi nag-advocate nga to engage actively in sex, but what we're saying is abstinence. But
Be safe.
if you engage man gani in any sexual activity, then engage in protected sex.
Yes, and I would like to point out what she tried to say, no, it's not your identity,
Yes.
it's not your
Your
gender or
your
sexual
orientation,
It's
or your
more,
expression.
Yes, it's more of the risky behaviors that you take.
Yes, and by risky, we're saying nga kanabang mga buluhaton or behavior nga posible makakuha noon ka sa HIV.
Yes.
So before we end ang kang Miss V nga story doc, kay naa jud tay mapupo nga pagtulunan. Dili
Okay,
lang
malalim
mo
yun.
apply sa atong
Paki-translate.
dili lang ni do na kitay leksyon nga atong makuha gyud no nga.
Yes.
Nga dili lamang para sa ato ang mga kaigsuonan or mga ka-vibes dinha nga nabuhi pa kakaron apan living with HIV kun dili kitang tanan nga dunay kondisyon man o wala kaysa ako lang ginaingon last week kining HIV mo ring diabetes na lang.
Yes.
No
oo.
nga more bag lifetime ang imong treatment.
And naay forever sa HIV kan ang ARV adherence.
Pero dita kay Baudo kay nabe bago nga breakthrough di ba nga murag once a
yes.
month na lang ang injection. We're
Hopefully
really
no
hoping.
moabot na dire.
And there's even a talk of vaccine against HIV.
Correct. So we hope that one day in our lifetime there will be an end to HIV.
But latas pa man ni anang tanan, maka-proud si Miss V nga nakatudlo nato no nga bisan unsa pa man ang imong gisagubang sa kinabuhi, bisan pa og tan-aw nimo mura kag gisilutan, dili lang nato talikdan ang tanan. O katubangon nato positively kay
Yes.
naara gyud sa ato ang mindset ang tanan. Mo gina ang tinuod no nga. Depende ra gyud na sa unsaon nato pag huna-huna. And to put into perspective these things. Ug ang atong approach nga negatibo kaayo makaapektar gyud na sa tibok natong lawas.
Yes, we have to think positively, no? Unta dili lang ang test, no? But
Labaw na RT-PCR lisod na
Yes.
kayo ron.
Correct, no? Pero kung positibo gani kay bisag unsa pa na kadako ang imong problema masulbad ragyud og maoy makapalig-on.
Nimo. Yes. So inubanan pa gid sa pag-ampo nga mo tuyahang giingon kaniha,
Yes.
no? Nagsige ra gid to siya ampo all the while. Yan nindot kay ba kay katong iyang mga kauban sa opisina nga nakahibaw-an niya nga bag-ong na-diagnose nga medyo naglisod sa ilahang pagdawat sa diagnosis, siya mo'y nahimong nawong
Mahimo siya support
ko
group.
pila na katuig.
Yes.
Mura ba ko himatyon?
Model.
Oh, di ba?
Model.
Siya tanawa ko himatyon ba ko? Di ba dili
Yeah.
man? Masakiton ba day kog dagway dili man? Oh, di ba? So mo nga let me quote, when life gives you 100 reasons to break down and cry, show life that you have a million reasons to smile and laugh. Stay strong.
Yan. So smile and
Grabe
laugh.
ba sa
You
to
are not
scriptwriters
alone.
magpa-quote diha?
So mga ka-vibes, dili lang may magdugay and we hope na namoy nakuha nga lesson for today's episode. So magkita-kita usab ta gihapon every Lunes.
Matag Lunes,
Okay.
alas 5 sa hapon. Usahay malate lang gamay kay
Yes.
ang mga meeting.
Oo, mag-overtime ang gyud ang mga meetings karon.
Yes.
Oo.
Dili lamang nasa season 3 sa Sotto Live.
Yeah, so don't forget to like our official social media accounts. We have at official VSMMC on Facebook and Twitter, and official website vsmmc.doh.gov.ph. But you can also contact us through OSM at vsmmc.doh.gov.ph.
Kay dinhi sa Sotto,
kalidad nga serbisyo, among garbo.
Kini si Pierre.
This is Helen Maukini ang
The
Sotto.
Sotto, the VSMMC Documentaries. Mayong gabi mga
May
vibes.
gabi!